Okay, this is my video review for the UTG L96. This is my friend's gun that he's had for about, I'm not sure how long he's had it, but he has had it for a while. He got it a little after I got my M16. Okay, so, out of the box, you get the bipod, 2 magazines, and he bought this from Airsoft GI for $160. So he also got the, let's see, it's the NC Star 3-9x40 rubberized scope right here, and scope rings. Okay, now the first thing I want to note is that this gun is very heavy. So if you are weak or can't handle heavy guns or just don't like running around, I suggest you do not buy this gun. Now there is something that he told me, is that back in the back here there were lead weights that weighed quite a bit, and I felt it before he took them out, and it was really heavy. He took those out and it's a little less heavy right now. I don't have an exact weight, but I will put that up later in the info section of YouTube. Okay, now the first couple things I want to say. The bipod, it's this basically UTG RIS rail bipod. You can buy at your local airsoft store. Put it on and take it off, take this screw, then you twist it off like this, just slide it off, then you have a tri-rail, and you basically, to put it back on, put it like that and tighten it. There's your bipod. Now to put the bipod on the gun, you have to take this little knob, I guess, and right in here, right below the barrel, there's a hole with a little groove here so it can guide it in. So basically, you just do that, put it in until you hear a click, and there you go. Now a quick note about the bipod is that it's a little loose, which can be good and bad. Good because if you're on a little bit of uneven ground, it will stabilize itself for you so you get an even shot. Now to move on to the magazines, the gun also comes with 2 different magazines, 25 round magazines. Now they have this spring system right here, and basically when you put the magazine in, compresses this, which then springs it back out when it's done. So you get 2 of those, and then you just put it in here. I find it easier to put it in with the back side in first, like that, so that's flush, and then just let it slide in. Another bad thing though about these magazines is that they get stuck sometimes. There you go, and you have to put it until you hear a click. Now to release it, you just press this button, and you have to press it in, not out. So you press it down, and the magazine just pops out. No need to pull it out or anything like that. Okay, now to move on to the gun. The gun is, the stock is all plastic, while the entire barrel, bolt housing, the action, scope rings, bolt handle, trigger, sling mounts, which are ambidextrous by the way, bipod mount, all those are externals. Those are all metal. The internals, now that's a bad thing. The trigger assembly is plastic, which means it's not going to be as durable as a metal plastic assembly, or a metal trigger assembly, even though his gun has done very well and he's not had any problems with it as far as I know. Okay, now with this gun, it's, like I said, it's very heavy, but that does play a part of its style. It's a very robust gun. There's not any wiggle that I can tell at all except from the bipod. It's got a nice little thumb hole right here. It makes it very comfortable to shoot, a little bit more stable when you're shooting. It's just really nice. You have the butt pad, which you have different lengths that you can put in to make it longer, shorter. And right here are 2 screws, and what you do is you unscrew these and then you pull this cheek rest up, and it makes the cheek rest taller. So if you have a taller scope or bigger scope mounts, then you're able to raise it up and use it then. Okay. Now for the bipod, something I did not mention is that to release it, you press this knob up, pull it down, like that. Now to release these to make it longer, basically just twist that and it pops up for you. Now to close it, you twist it in like that, a little hard like this, but put it in like that. Okay, I'm just going to leave those in for right now. Close those out. But you just do that, and then you twist it to make sure it's tight so that it does not fall off or anything later. So that's that. They can very stable. I mean, it is a little wobbly, but I mean, like I said, it's good for side to side. So like if this side's up a little bit, it's still able to adjust the gun for that. And you can put this up like this. Now you can also put this on backwards so that these legs are facing here, but it's not necessary. Now this piece right here, there's a cutout. Now what I do with that is that when you're shooting, it's always good to have a weld to your body to make it more stable. Let's see if I can do it this way. So basically, when you're holding your gun like this, you take this arm right here, put it like this, and put it up against your shoulder. Let me do it over here. So you basically put down your bipod. This is not when you're standing, this is when you're bench rest or prone. Put it like this, and then hold it like this against your shoulder to get more stable. Like that. So it's a neat little thing that I've only seen in this gun. I think is quite neat. What else? Okay, the scope covers just come off like that, like all scope covers. Now this scope is a 3 to 9 by 40, as I had mentioned before. It's got a ruby coated lens, so no glare. It's got, now with this gun I do suggest buying high scope mounts. The reason is because here you have to be really close to the scope and really low down, really low to get the right eye length away to be able to see well through it. Now you can adjust that by the adjustment ring, loosen this and twist and whatnot, but I'm not going to do that because this is not my gun. Also, I'm not taking this apart because this is not my gun and I don't really want to have to pay for it. So, got your big orange tip here. As far as I know, it's not really removable unless you take it off, pull it off, and it's really hard. You got your standard 1911 rail right here to mount any type of scope or accessory you want. You can mount a red dot scope. Now with the scope, I suggest you have 3 to 9 by 40 or 50 is the best magnification levels, I think. Because 3, you're not really, with an airsoft gun, you're not going to get past 4-time magnification. I just don't think that's practical. But with this, with the scope, I'm 3 to 9 by 50, so you can go up to 9 power and spot and do target identification and whatnot, and stuff like that. But yeah, it's a great little scope. Red dots work too, since this doesn't have the range of a real sniper rifle. If you don't want to put a scope on it, but I do think a scope adds the look factor to it. Yeah, let's see. The bolt pull on this is very nice. It's very smooth, and I will demonstrate that in a second. But yeah, okay. Now, as I was saying about the bolt pull, it has a nice oversized ball here. It's easy to grip with gloves on, unlike my Bar 10, which has a small bolt ball, and it's harder to grab in gloves because it's small. This is nice and big. It gives you a nice area to pull back on. Right here is your safety, right next to your bolt. It's made out of cheap metal, so it's prone to bending or breaking. Basically, when it's all the way back, it's unsafe. You should not see anything there, just metal. When it's all the way forward, you should see a little red dot, and that means it's not unsafe and it's ready to fire. Okay. Now, the bolt pull on this is relatively smooth considering that the gun has 460 FPS out of the box with .2s. Now, that is a good thing and a bad thing. Now, some sites will not allow that, and you might have to downgrade the spring. But relatively smooth bolt pull, I mean, it's really smooth. I mean, I'm not going to do it all the way because you don't want to dry fire a gun, especially snipers. But I'm going to take this off. But I mean, it's a very smooth bolt pull and very easy to manipulate. Do fast pulls. I can't really pull back with one finger like my Bar 10, but this has a bigger spring in it. Also, this gun is relatively quiet. It is just a little bit louder than my Bar 10. Probably not by much, but just a little bit, which is okay considering this thing can really reach out and touch somebody.